When I was younger, I used to be so reactive and sensitive. Something happened that was really an eye opener for me. That was on my birthday, my 2023 birthday, where my guests, my friends, were asked to describe me and something they feel I needed to work on. A lot of them had a particular thing to say about me that I felt like okay, fine. And this was something that I knew about myself. And that was the day I felt, okay, this is it. This is a sign, and this is it. This is the clear sign I needed. A lot of them had that one thing to say about me. That was the day I decided that, okay, this is the end of it. I have to work on this. I have to change it, right? So in this episode, I'm going to be telling you what helped me, to how I stopped being so reactive, and how I was able to be in control of my emotions and what goes on in my head. I'm going to be telling you how to understand your triggers and understand what makes you so reactive and what makes you overthink and act out certain things that goes on in your head. First of all, let's start with what are triggers? What are the things that trigger us as humans? Your trigger can be anything. It can be an object, it can be a person, it can be emotion, it can be something you see, it can be even our imaginations, right? It can be something you think, or maybe you smell, or something you hear. It can be anything. Anything can trigger us as humans. Now, why so? It's something that is tied to a particular memory that we've had before, which we've gotten either a good or a bad experience, a negative or a positive experience from. Those are the things that can be our triggers. I had a problem and I was acting based on my triggers. And sometimes, which a lot of people don't realize, which is what I'm going to share with you, sometimes a lot of people don't realize that their actions are as a result of certain triggers that they don't even know about. They don't remember. All right. There is something driving your action. There is something causing you to react. There is something causing you to overthink. Sometimes, do you ever wonder why someone would say it's not that deep, even if that is a very wrong thing to say? Yeah, someone will say, well, it's not, this thing is not that serious, but to you it is very, very serious. Have you ever wondered why? That is because it is tied to certain emotions or certain memories that you've had in your past or while you're navigating life. That is something that a lot of people don't realize. We need to understand that if something is not serious for you, and this is for those guys that will always say, it's not that deep, it's not that serious. Yes, it is. If somebody says, oh, you did something to me, this is how it made me feel, you are not in the position to tell them, no, I don't think it was supposed to be like that. I don't think it was that deep. You're not in the position to say, because they know what they're talking about. They know what they're feeling, all right? And my focus now is not on the people that try to tell you it's not that. My focus is on you now that is feeling or that is getting triggered. You need to come back to yourself. You need to try and understand yourself. You need to sit with yourself and observe your thoughts. You need to sit with yourself and tell yourself, why am I reacting to this thing? Why am I feeling this way? When you sit down and ask yourself these questions, you begin healing even when you don't realize it. That is where healing starts. It is not just by, oh, I've outgrown this thing. Oh, I'm no longer in that phase of my life. It's not just by that, to be honest. Sometimes these things are still inside of us, in our memories, that we don't even realize. This is something I said in my book, Fix You First. These are unhealed traumas that we think we have gotten over, but we haven't. Right? When you sit down and you ask yourself, okay, I had an encounter with this person and I'm so angry, I hate them, I don't like them, I'm so pissed, I'm so mad at them. Why not take your attention from what they did and bring your attention here and ask yourself, why was I so reactive to that? Why did that bother me so much? All right. You ask yourself, when you ask yourself this question, you would get answers. You'll be the one to answer yourself. You'll be the one to tell yourself, okay, this is it. This helps me. It helps me so much. I'm still getting there. I can't say I'm perfect now. I'm still getting there. I'm still helping myself. God is helping me. Yeah. This is something that you need to sit with yourself. Observe your thoughts. Observe what goes on in your head. When I meet people, what is happening? This is why I always tell people, you also have to not be accessible to everybody. Not everybody is deserving of your energy, because why? Some people will just never get it. Some people will just never understand you. They'll never, right? So they're only going to make you feel worse, and you would come back and you always, even while you're trying to help yourself, when you meet certain people, it's just, what is going on, right? So in order to not always put yourself in those kind of situations where you're trying to help yourself and someone else is just making the whole thing look what's the word, futile, you should try to be selective with your energy. Try to not be so accessible. All right, if you're trying to change, if you're trying to help yourself, you need to draw back. You need to withdraw yourself and be selective with the kind of energy you accept, or the kind of energies you put yourself in. I don't know if I'm getting the word right, but that's just it. Yeah, when you start to answer those questions genuinely, you begin to truly heal your inner child and erase all the traumas. This is something that helped me, because I actually realized that these things were not even really worth the energy, or it wasn't really worth it. Right? I am such an overthinker. I would sit down and think and make up scenarios in my head. But when I realized that, okay, this is not helping me, I have to sit down and ask myself, why is it happening? What exactly? Why? You need to always sit down and ask why. All right? Because whatever it is that is happening to you as a person, there is a reason why it's happening. So you always have to sit down and ask, why is this happening? Or why am I reacting to this thing? All right? And when you actually sit down to understand and ask yourself these honest questions, you will get an answer. In order to not be influenced by external triggers or external factors or people or things or memories, you need to always sit down and ask yourself, why is this triggering something in me? All right? When you sit down and ask these questions, you will get clarity. There will be alignment. At the end of the day, you realize that certain things are not even worth the energy. That is because why? You have healed and you are now aware. You now know that, okay, this is it, and I'm going to do the work. I'm going to work on this and truly tell myself that I have moved past this phase of my life. That is what healing does. When you're healed, you are no longer as reactive. Yes, people would do dumb things that would, not be nice, but it will not really be that deep anymore. It would not really be that. You would no longer be stressing yourself. You will no longer be, this person pissed me off, and then you come and sit and be mad and your energy is just messed up. No. You are now vibrating on this level, and now you know better. This doesn't trigger me anymore. Now I know why I react this way. Now you are now treating the problem from the root. Whatever that person is no longer so annoying. They are just being themselves. I hope this episode helped you to understand why things trigger you, why you're easily triggered, or why you're reactive, or why you're overthinking. You should be able to know, sit down with yourself and ask the questions why, in order to truly heal. Thank you for watching. I hope this episode helped you, and do well to share, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.